Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishna. Here basically we are discussing one of the topic, that is city creation. In city creation, basically we are discussing about the India topic. Here basically last video we discussed what? The future generation. What will be the future generation of software industry? What will be the future generation of banks? What will be the future generation of human basically? What will be the future generation of Indian nationality? What would be the future generation? That actually we are discussing just now. So one of the person told that, Sunil, your marriage has not happened. No, basically I have married. So there is no future of you basically. So somebody finished your future basically. So one of the person told that, do you know basically which that group is who finished your future? From satellite group basically they asked the question. Which is that group basically who finished your future? Because still basically your marriage has not happened. So they want to plan something big basically. That's why basically they ask the question basically. From which state basically they are? Which country basically they are? And which that country basically is giving money to which all states basically. That also they asked. So Sunil basically don't have any answer. Why? Because Sunil basically don't know anything, na basically. That somebody has created future of Sunil R. Nair. Somebody has created future of Sunil R. Nair. That Sunil R. Nair basically don't know. Sunil R. Nair basically don't know the future basically. So currently what is the situation? That basically you see. Currently situation is entire world basically, that is a 900 crore people basically, they basically has generated the future basically in universe basically, and this everything is done basically. I don't have any future basically. Why? Because my marriage has not happened. Then marriage has not happened, that means my generation basically is not there. My generation is not there, na basically. So Sky satellite group basically told that basically your future generation basically does not exist, Sunil basically. That is also a question basically. So one of the person told this was planned by some group, or basically somebody has intentionally basically done this basically. Because few people basically on Abhiman basically they will finish everything basically. So somebody has done this basically for you to you basically. Because this is connecting to the earthquakes basically, that's why. That basically comes to the individual earthquakes. That is basically called as a kahani basically of earthquakes. Because this is basic, I am just taking my example basically. In this basically, in this world basically, how many stories basically are there? So one of the person told that basically, Sunil basically, where is basically your stories earthquakes? That basically is the very dangerous question basically. I am telling you basically. This is going to connect earthquake basically. This is going to connect to earthquake. Like this basically, assume that basically there are 900 crore people basically. This everything basically will be, who will be responsible? That also basically we are going to discuss in this topic basically. So here basically I am just taking my example. Really basically my marriage has also not happened. Somebody is telling that basically we will finish your future basically. Sorry, we have finished your future. Just taking as an example basically, I am just taking my example so that basically you can replace my example with your example basically. My example with your example basically. That you got married, you basically got 2 child, your generation started. One person basically got marriage, his generation was not happened. Why? Because when he was basically having second marriage basically. When he basically got first marriage, that time basically the first marriage group basically has done something basically to his body basically, that they told that basically you basically will never get the birth only basically. your generation will get it. So that also basically generates to one story basically. When basically he's trying to get the birth, when basically he's trying to get the birth, trying to start the generation, he's not able to start. Why? Because his generation was ended by the first marriage group. So from this basically everything basically what we connected basically. He's trying to basically get the birth basically, but he's can't able. Why? Currently basically Navratri festival is ongoing. That is the group basically. You will just not able to believe basically what is going to happen to universe basically. So one of the person told that future basically is already generated as somebody has created the future in universe by Sunil R. Nair generation and basically. Somebody has done this basically. Yeah. Somebody is telling that basically we have created permanent solution basically. So this is permanent solution basically. Universe basically has generated the future. That is the 900 crore population which is already generated the future basically. So one of the person told how many Indian basically are in America basically. How many Indian basically are in Europe basically. How many Indian basically are in UAE basically, because UAE basically nothing will happen to Indian because they have created UAE in 1953 I think. In 1953 they have created a UAE na basically. So if anything basically will happen to was by chance basically due to Indian nationality something basically happened in universe, just taking as an example basically. So UAE basically nothing is going to happen to Indian nationality. But what about America basically? Few people say that America is also created by Indian only. And they keeps on giving the proof basically that you basically are safe in America basically. So one of the person told that here basically what actually are basically I am not able to get the point here. Sunil basically what actually you want to discuss. So here the point is individual earthquake chains. So there are how many people basically in this world? There are 900 crore people basically. Few people says that basically individual earthquake chain that will be very costly here basically. So they told that basically we will create blood groups level earthquakes chain. That was very dangerous thing basically. Because it's connected to more dangerous thing basically. This connected to very dangerous thing basically. One of the person told that if I want to break the earthquake chain of this blood group, so is this possible basically? That's very dangerous thing basically. Otherwise if you will break the chain, then again basically you have to create the chain basically. And this basically France group have to do if they want to stop the world war. Because currently everybody is trying to stop the world war, stop the world war, because lots of investment are investment are there basically of ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, HSBC Bank, like this basically they have invested 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh crore in USA basically. And India basically lots of Dubai Bank, Abu Dhabi Bank, they have also invested. By chance basically Chinese group and Pakistani groups attacks India basically, then there the Dubai Bank and Abu Dhabi Bank basically will stop the earthquake basically. Why? Because this amount was taken by the that bank basically. So here actually what actually the problem is? So this type of all experiment basically France group only have to do, because they are taking the money na basically. In this basically they can take the help of Bollywood group. Why? Because they are taking 300, 400 crore rupees basically. And they basically have taken lots of money basically Bollywood groups. And in this the software company also basically have taken lots of money basically. So you can take the help of the software company also. That is by default in India basically, TCS basically. And now everybody knows that basically who is handling TCS. So that basically we are not discussing basically. We are discussing basically next generation basically. One person told that, yeah, basically I want to do marriage and I want to settle my life basically. I don't want any tension mention basically. So he started uh, collecting his list of friends basically. Which friend will create some. He was basically very rich person, as if that basically is very rich and powerful person. He started calculating his friends basically. These all are friends. These all are friends. These friends basically might create problem to us. That friend basically might create problem to us. This friend basically might create problem to us. So he basically, what he has done basically, he started breaking the relationship with that friends basically, and he basically few friends basically, he told that basically I don't want to break, I don't want to keep the relationship with you, so you can basically get out from my life basically. Few friends basically, he told that basically few friends basically might create problem to me in long term basically. I will take one example. Assume that basically in cricket basically India is not winning the match, right? So Indian management, that is the cricket management basically of Mumbai basically, who what they have done the plan basically. So they told that basically I have taken this example long before basically. Here also I will take the example. They told that basically we will do one thing. We basically has collected around 120 people, and from that 120 people basically we have killed almost 90 percentage. Rest of 10% people basically are there who are basically creating problem in India winning match World Cup basically. And sports will 100% exist in this world. Sports must exist basically in this world. Otherwise basically lots of condition is not going to satisfy. And here everybody knows that it's a sports union. Sports and Bollywood's union. So it's a union basically. That also we are going to discuss basically how that union basically is going to connect to earthquakes. So currently what is the topic? Currently topic is one person told that basically the earthquake system department basically, they told that basically, yeah, basically we want to create one individual chain basically of earthquake, but that is costing very too much basically. So individual stories basically which are basically smooth. Currently basically one of the satellite person told that, Sunil, where basically was earthquake stories ongoing? So there is no answer no, basically. Why? Because the earth planet has merged the entire stories of earthquake in one blood group chain basically. So one of the person told that individual stories basically are also connected. Just now basically I got one call from ICICI Bank, and basically I don't have any account in ICICI Bank. So this is basically what basically? This is one chain basically which is connected with some group basically. This connects to what? Individual chain basically. But nowadays basically individual earthquake chain basically is not there, because the group basically who is into the earthquake chain basically, they are actually telling that basically a single individual earthquake chain basically we can't handle it basically. So for another person to assume that basically when Sunil Nair basically was in Bangalore, that time BJP government basically was ruling. That time basically Sunil Nair basically asked for the job and they basically have not given the job. That means BJP basically was responsible for not giving the job. And currently basically they are ruling the central government. And basically I am not getting job in India only basically. So one of the satellite person told that I think the BJP government are creating problem to you basically. BJP government means Narendra Damodar Modi and Bhupender Patel. And their groups basically. They are creating problem to you. And their entire groups basically. That is ICICI Bank, HSBC Bank, this bank, that bank, every bank basically. So one of the person told that they basically can create problem to you basically. Because they don't know you also basically. Then basically why they create problem, especially to you basically. That is also question basically. So here basically what is the thing basically which just now basically connected. Here basically when Sunil Nair basically went visited the Bangalore city, that time basically Sunil Nair basically not got the job due to BJP government. And currently basically there is a crisis of water basically. Few people say that government basically is having the water basically in their house. They are not having crisis. The software industry basically, that is the Bangalore local people basically, they are not having the crisis of water. Only the normal people basically are having the crisis of water. So this connects to normal people basically. There is no crisis basically for rich people basically in Bangalore basically. They are having their lifestyle very easily basically. Their borewell, everybody is borewell water basically, everything is going fine basically. So that topic also we are going to discuss. Why basically it's like that? Few people says that basically under the land, basically under the land, lots of people basically are working. For example, I will take one example. You will not believe this basically. One person told that, uh, do you know basically in Mumbai basically there was no building basically. There was only I think 20 building, 40 floor building, 50 floor building, 70 floor buildings basically. But currently there are 100 floor, 200 floor, 300 floor, 1000 floors building basically. How basically this has happened basically? That was due to the underland construction basically. Under the Mumbai land basically, there are many people basically working. You will not believe this basically. The lava company basically are working basically. The entire world basically is connected with the lava companies. Whenever basically they feel that basically here basically 1000 floor buildings basically are required, they immediately do the construction of that underground of the land basically. Then only basically the 1000 buildings are standing basically. Otherwise basically it will not stand. It will just go down basically. So 1000 buildings basically were going to prepare that plan long before basically somebody, that is the lava company group basically, has got the information basically. So one of the person told that earthquake basically is actually what here basically we confused basically, because earthquake basically in previous lecture basically you told that basically the Microsoft like company basically they are basically setting the environment of 1000 buildings, so that basically the earthquake basically is not supposed to happen. Reason, stable data basically they are passing. And now basically the underground land basically preparation basically is ongoing, so that the Mumbai basically can have thousand floor buildings basically. So what is actually this over here basically? We are not actually getting it. So from where basically they are dumping the lava? In Mumbai. So that Mumbai basically can have thousand four buildings basically. So that why basically they are doing this? Because there would not be any earthquakes. There is not supposed to be any earthquakes. There is not supposed to be earthquakes. So again basically we will go to live example. We will talk magnitude wise basically. Magnitude wise. Nothing magnitude wise, just a minute. I will take one magnitude wise data. So the maximum earthquake basically just within 1 month basically we got see Indonesia basically just 2 3 days before basically 1 day before basically they got the big earthquake basically. That was in Indonesia basically. Before that basically the Japan has got. So first basically Japan got the earthquake, then basically the Indonesia got the earthquake. Before that it might possible that some Manipur basically area basically might have got the earthquakes. Before Manipur it might possible that some Kashmir basically area might have got earthquake. Before Kashmir basically it might possible that basically Pakistan group basically might have got earthquake. Before Pakistan basically it might possible that some Nepal basically group might have got earthquake. Before Nepal it might possible that somebody some area like Meghalaya basically group might have got the earthquake. So like this basically it's an entire chain basically of the Asian country basically. So one of the person told that why basically it's like that basically, yeah. Why basically the earthquake chain is like this? Sometimes basically if Meghalaya basically has got a 3.1 earthquake, so it might possible that Japan basically will get more earthquake, that is basically 7.8 basically. So here basically the sequence of earthquake also basically has magnitude basically is not also differing basically, or is not connecting basically, because previously basically it was 3.1 in Meghalaya, then basically it connected to Japan, there basically earthquake is 7.8. So there is no formula also you can create, but chain basically has created of earthquakes. So one of the person wrote that how basically you can break this chain, earthquake chain basically, how you can break? Is it possible to break the earthquake chain basically? So one of the person told that that is very difficult to break the earthquake chain. So one of the person told the earthquake chain basically. One of the person told that what is this earthquake chain basically? So in next video we are going to discuss that what actually the earthquake chain is and how it's connecting to the satellites. That is the next topic which we are going to discuss in next video.